What did someone tell you that really hurt? My mom was in hospice when she grabbed my hand and said, I wish you'd been more like your brother. I sat there frozen, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. My brother Jake had been the golden child my entire life. Better grades, better job, perfect wife. I spent 32 years living in his shadow while he collected every award, every compliment, every ounce of pride our parents had to give. I was the one who stayed local, the one who drove mom to her appointments every Tuesday and Thursday, the one who held her hand through 2 hip replacements and a cancer scare. Jake flew in once a year for Christmas, took a few photos for Instagram, and disappeared back to Seattle. But there I was, holding her frail hand in that sterile room, and those words just hung in the air between us. I started to pull away, but she squeezed tighter. Her eyes were clearer than they'd been in weeks. Let me finish, she whispered. I waited. He visits once a year, calls maybe twice. You're here every single day. You put your life on hold for me. You turned down that job in Denver. You canceled your wedding when I got sick. I remembered. Sarah couldn't handle being second priority. She gave me an ultimatum. I chose my mom. I wish you'd been more like him, Mom continued. Selfish enough to live your own life instead of sacrificing everything for me. I've watched you disappear into my caretaker and it breaks my heart. I didn't know what to say. I just sat there while tears ran down my face. She reached up and touched my cheek. There's a blue folder in my closet, the one behind the Christmas decorations. Don't open it until I'm gone. Promise me. I promised. 3 weeks later, she passed peacefully in her sleep. I was holding her hand when it happened. Jake didn't make it in time. His flight got delayed and he said he'd catch the next one. He never did. The funeral was small. Mom wanted it that way. Jake gave a beautiful eulogy about how much she meant to him. I watched him wipe away tears I'm still not sure were real. That night, I remembered the folder. I found it exactly where she said. Behind the faded box of ornaments we'd hung together every December. The folder was thick and heavy. Inside was her will, a handwritten letter, and 10 years of bank statements. I didn't understand at first. The statements showed regular transfers from one account to another. The pattern was consistent, but I couldn't figure out what triggered them. Then I found the leather journal underneath everything else. Mom had been keeping track. Every missed birthday, every ignored phone call, every holiday Jake promised to visit but canceled last minute. Each entry had a date, a description, and a dollar amount. December 25th, 2019. Jake canceled Christmas morning, said emergency at work, posted beach photos from Cabo that afternoon. Transfer $15,000. March 3rd, 2020. My birthday. Jake forgot to call. Daniel brought flowers and made dinner. Transfer $8,000. September 14th, 2021. Hip surgery. Jake said he couldn't get time off. Daniel slept in the hospital chair for 4 nights. Transfer $25,000. Page after page. Year after year. She'd been quietly moving money from Jake's inheritance into an account under my name. Every time he chose himself over her, another transfer. Every broken promise became my gain. The final balance was $847,000. The letter explained everything. My sweet Daniel, I know you think I never noticed. I noticed everything. I watched you put your dreams on hold while your brother built his life pretending I didn't exist. He only reaches out when he needs something. You reach out because you love me. That's a difference worth everything I have. I read that letter 17 times. Jake found out at the reading of the will. His face went white when the lawyer announced the split. He was supposed to get half the savings. Instead, he got the house and exactly $47,000. Everything else was mine. He exploded, accused me of manipulating her, said I'd poisoned her against him, demanded an investigation. I'll contest this, he shouted at the lawyer. She wasn't in her right mind. The lawyer just smiled and pulled out the leather journal. Your mother anticipated this reaction. She asked me to submit this as evidence of her mental clarity and intention. Every entry was dated, documented, cross-referenced with photos and text messages Mom had saved. She'd built an airtight case against her own son. Jake hired his own attorney. They claimed undue influence, claimed cognitive decline, claimed I'd forged documents. The judge reviewed the journal entry by entry. 10 years of meticulous documentation. Screenshots of Jake's social media posts contradicting his excuses. Case dismissed. Jake hasn't spoken to me since. He tells everyone I stole his inheritance, that I manipulated our dying mother. I don't care anymore, because the final entry in that journal is dated 2 days before she died. Her handwriting was shaky, but still clear. My only regret isn't that I failed one son. It's that I let the world convince my good son he was the lesser one. Daniel, you were always enough. You were always the one I was proud of. I just never said it loud enough for you to hear. I'm saying it now.